Hi. Nowadays, there are so many services to help with labeling, with automatic data augmentation, with training model online, and of course, with model problem detection. And it's, in my opinion, it's pretty interesting topic to speak about. And today, want to talk about this with founder and CEO of Manot, Chinar Movsisyan. Hello, Chinar.
Hi, Anton. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Can you, at the start, tell me more about Manot, how you differ from existing systems to automate model retraining, and what is your product about?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the question. So at Manot, we do the monitoring of the performance of computer vision models. Like imagine you have enterprises in any verticals have computer vision models that are dealing with object detection, classification, or tracking. But then once the model is introduced to like new information, new data coming from the production videos, they can fail. And there is no data-driven way, efficient way that we can identify specific samples where the model is going to fail. What we do is like identifying those specific samples where the model is likely to fail. So you can use it to make your training data set more comprehensive, to integrate it back to the model, to improve the model accuracy. Just we improve the data curation part based on the insights that we can provide about the production videos, like monitoring your model performance.
Excellent. And it's just one part of the whole successful system usually, like when you need to retrain new models, you need to labeling part, you need some integration part. And can you tell me more about how you solve this part, for example, labeling? Do you have some tools to label the data in your system, and how you work with this part?
At this point, like we own some like private data set, which is already labeled. We have done it manually. Also, we use a lot of public available like labeled data set. But at this point, that is for our technology to develop it. It's not only related directly to the data set, but also like the model, the unique technology that we have developed on our side. Regarding the labeling part, like in terms of our technology that we provide our customers, we are not doing labeling. Just what we do is we are monitoring the behavior of computer vision models of customers' computer vision model, and then provide data samples, specific samples where the model is likely to fail. And then they can use other existing solutions, for example, like superannotate scale to label it, to review it, or some stuff on there.
Excellent. And do you have integration with such system, or do you like to connect with them like through the S3 or something like this?
Yeah, good question. At this point, we provide API solution as well, S3 or like other Google Clouds or Azure, whatever they want. The APIs can be integrated into any pipeline. Like they can be integrated into superannotate or scale. So after like data samples, after the insights identification in terms of images, in terms of data, they can be delivered to their platforms, and the annotation part can be done there directly.
And speaking about the different site, like training site, do you it's pretty good when you can not only detect the problems with models, but fastly retrain to check different version of how model is trained. Probably you also integrate with something like I don't know, weight and biases, I'm on, or probably some different solution. And how do you integrate with retraining part?
Yeah, in terms of retraining, like we are not dealing with that part on there, but that is a question maybe we can deal later. And yeah, that's also important question. So you can easily retrain your model after like having specific samples, then labeling after labeling it, and then the question is how efficiently retrain the model. But yeah, maybe that can be done on their side or use other parties as well. If they do a lot of experiments, maybe they can use AIM-stack, you know, maybe them like a company that does experiments really in efficient way. Yeah.
Excellent. And this field nowadays is pretty fast growing, and all the services expand in all the directions, like data preparation, filtering, training, deployment. And as far as I know, there is no one that yet fills all the space. And two questions. Do you want to go in different like labeling part on the or on some filtering data part, on training, and of course do you want to go to in these fields, and what is your prioritization, or you just want to make sure that your part is excellent? And the second question, what in your opinion is solutions that already try to include whole the market already in this solution?
Regarding the last question, I don't think in the market we can see company that does whole part on there, like monitoring, data sample selection, data curation improvement, then labeling, then retraining, experiment. Like it's a pipeline currently, which is like being sold by some companies in vertically, like. And regarding the first question, for us, the main goal is to provide really good solution that can be used for model performance monitoring. Like we can help enterprises to be aware about the model performance on new data and easily get new samples, specific samples, like switch from big data to good data, so they can use that good data to label it, then integrate it to the model. But the main question is, if we do that part in a efficient way, the other part would be done efficiently as well. So if we can select from 10,000 images, 1,000 images, so we will use other like costs in terms of labeling, in terms of retraining efficiently. At this point, our experiments show that if enterprises use our technology to select, to monitor the performance of their models, based on our technology, the selected samples can provide up to 10% model improvement in terms of like accuracy, like it can be detection, classification, or just tracking.
So more about horizontal surveys, not about vertical one. Okay, and let me speak from different direction and talk with you a bit about one-shot learning, because in my opinion it's very close to the things that you provide, like learn on few samples that something wrong. And at the moment, many of the people I talk to think that the task of detection and classification will work fundamentally different with the development of transformer. It will be enough to train the transformer on just few examples. There will be something like very, very big trained transformer, and you can't retrain it on few samples. And then if you need some neural network that will work fast, you just need to distill this transformer into TAGET neural network. What do you think about this? Will the progress go this way, or will the current system remain the current state?
Like, of course, like one-shot learning or we can elaborate it as a few-shot learning is a really good concept that currently researchers, engineers are trying to use it, integrate into some like their solutions technologies. But the question is how to select those few elements in terms of samples. So again, we are coming to this first question. If we select it in a good way, in an efficient way, like keeping in mind that that justifying that those selected samples are enough and like are important in terms of their usage for further retraining, yeah, of course that that concept will be really demanded, because at this point what we can see, it's data is really a huge problem in terms of collection, in terms of preparation, and also retraining part under related to the models.
Yes, it's a good answer, because one-shot learning, it's always stuck in situation when you have completely different view of the same situation. I like your answer, but probably one-shot learning will improve the training speed and the quality of such systems. And speaking about model improvement, it's pretty easy to retrain models in one pipeline when you have some easy data like detection or classification. But what do you think about more complex data situation like medicine, defectoscopy, and so on, where different specialists can interpret the image completely different? How do you handle such situation in your system, and what do you think about some automation problem search in such task?
Yeah, it's really good question, because if we talk like integration of AI into different verticals, for me, healthcare medical stuff is really difficult in terms of like you need to have domain expertise on there, because AI can do like decisions, but of course you need to have some domain expertise input, at least doctor's input. And regarding my experience, like our experience at Monod, to be honest, we haven't done any experiments in healthcare field, but that we can see that in that field also there is a huge demand. The problem is really exists, so you need to understand how your model as soon as possible. It's a mission critical one if we compare to usual detection problems in different verticals. But in healthcare, you should improve it as soon as possible. You cannot wait it until you can see the particular fail, which is happened, and then improve it. But initially, you should be aware about any small little like failure point so you can improve it. But at this point, we don't have much experience in the specific vertical.
Yes, because the main problem is I work a few times with different medical startups and I don't know how to call it, a big company that integrates system of such startups, the main problem is sometimes two different doctors or two different doctors teams have completely different view, and it's easier to train different models for each party than to train something that will work with both companies. And speaking about the data collection like the production have the same problem each time. You have stream of the same data. For example, like model will not work on dark image and detect false positive detection, but the camera at that night will stream 1,000 of gigabytes of data with incorrect detection. And do you allow the users to beat this problem and to filter the sample, to filter the same problems that will happen 1,000 of times? Or do you just show the users, you have problem on this image, you have problem on this image? Do you help users to work with big data sets and just focus on the specific problems? And how do you think, if not, how do you think this part should be solved on big production systems?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, we specifically trying to deal with that problem. Like what we do is our software allows user to introduce those specific elements you mentioned about the illumination problem. Like that can be in the evening, the camera can send a lot of images with false positives where the model cannot identify the targeted object. We identify those specific frames so the user can integrate it back to the model, to the training dataset. That is the main question which we do. Like we provide insights about the behavior of your model once it faces anomalies. In this case, like in the dark objects in the dark, and then you can take those specific image samples, which are anomalies in this case, and use it for further analysis, review it, label it, or just be aware about those cases that your model cannot handle.
But if this class is unbalanced, like you have 1,000 of images from dark condition and just 2 or 3 images, like when a person, for example, lying on the floor or jumping salto mortale or something like this, and if you append 1,000 of dark images in training pipeline, the model will behave probably even worse than before this. And you need to just, in my opinion, you need just to focus to train on 5 dark images, on 3 images on lying persons, and on 5 images with person doing salto mortale or something like this. And it's I don't know answer to this problem, and each time it's stuck in some additional labeling or something like this to just filter and balance different problems in the production. And how because this balancing part is pretty important. And do we work with this balancing of different problems, or do you allow do you just tell an user do it themselves? And if you tell user to do it themselves, how in your opinion that they should work with this problem?
Mhm. Understood your point. At this point, we are not doing this decision-making part on there. We just provide insight in terms of like data, images, particular images where the model is likely to fail or they are false positives, false negatives. And we say, hey, if you add those samples into your training data set, the model accuracy will be improved. Your model will be fit in the real world where the model is operating in. The question related to the imbalanced data set, um, as the training data set is not so cannot cover whole possible scenarios in terms of like those cases where the imbalance part is happening. So the question is how efficiently you can get insight and in terms of data and how you can link your model on top of your training data set to the real world. So if you solve that part under the balancing part will be somehow solved. But again, here we need some human in the loop in terms of data scientists, so they can review the provided insight samples to balance data set to improve it.
Okay, yes, it's usually everyone do the same all the time, but I hope that it will change sometime.
Yeah, it will help them to get more like good data. At this point, this is my opinion, what I have faced with my previous projects or current work that I am doing, but maybe the enterprises have another option to deal with this kind of stuff.
Everywhere where I saw, everyone do the same. And I hope that sometimes someone will create solutions that will, and I think that you pretty close to it. For example, you just need not only detect the problems, but also count how much different anomalies you have detected and show like classes, like here is one class of problem, here's a second class of problem, and then allow to users to balance. But I didn't saw good solutions that allow everything. And speaking of the different part, it's like real production and continuous integration. Like, of course, you need to connect your learning, connect your data collection, connect your retraining, and how do you allow your users to integrate your software in such process and to provide it like automatically? And as I hear, you have some API to send data to you and collect the answers, but is it containerized or is it some web solution? How do you work with this part?
Yeah, at this point we provide APIs like so they can integrate the engineers or just the enterprise can integrate it into their pipelines and use it on like those are on-premise APIs. Can be on-premise APIs, also can be Amazon Web Service connected APIs. We can provide those two ways. And also in terms of containerized solution, we have in a milestone to develop that part on there because we can see some enterprises say, hey, we need containerized one, so that would be easily to integrate, etc. So at this point, APIs are already like developed. You can use it, and yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that our time is out, and my question have ended. Thank you so much. You have great product, and I hope that it will grow and to help everyone to resolve the problems with training. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you so much.